Hello, my name is Jody Roblyer, and I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner practicing in the Baltimore metropolitan area. And I've been practicing here for the last 15 to 16 years as a pediatric nurse practitioner, and also teaching in the School of Nursing at Johns Hopkins, and have been in pediatrics as a nurse and a nurse practitioner for 30 years. I've seen the whole gamut of well kids, sick kids, chronic illness, and I've been on call. And I've had a lot of experience in answering phone calls and talking to parents. And I think I have a good sense of empathy, understanding. I've raised 2 children of my own, had my family. I know lots of the ups and downs, in and outs, up late at night crying when there's an acute illness with a high fever, as well as kind of the agony of, I don't know what's wrong with my child. I really want to know how I can make him better. So my new business, Families for Infants, Children, Adolescents, and Young Adults, the FICAEA Center. Basically, I'm the provider. When a patient comes to see me, they're going to come to my office at my home. It'll be a consultation visit. And that initial visit is going to be really a complete history. How are they expressing their own health and wellness in terms of nutrition, sleep, exercise, fresh air, sunshine, relationships, school, academics, friends, peers, sports. All of that impacts their health status. So I want to be able to ensure that I have the most complete picture of the child so we know where we can begin and where we need to go from there. From the fellowship, I'm learning how to use vitamins, minerals, supplements, herbals for treatment of different diseases like chronic diseases, like whether it's chronic otitis media or even acute otitis media, sinus infections, asthma, allergies, eczema. Those are big topics. Also autism spectrum disorder, and ADHD. There's a fair amount of evidence-based research to show that for ADHD, food, either through elimination diets and challenge diets, you can find out if there's sensitivities in particular individuals. And there's kind of an across-the-board knowledge that there's the major groups of food sensitivities, whether it's a true allergy or not, are like wheat, gluten, milk, dairy. And so going with that approach is one way. The other is using supplements for decreasing the body's inflammatory response. And there's a big chunk of evidence to show that there's a lot of inflammation in ADHD, as well as autism. Inflammation can happen at a cellular level, as well as at a more visible level. So you can have inflammation with arthritis, for instance, and that you can actually visibly see that. And in other ways, inside, in the intestinal area, or even in the brain, there can be cellular damage done through microscopic inflammation. In adults, for instance, coronary artery disease and plaque buildup is a direct result of inflammatory responses that happen. So there's an initial inflammatory response that happens at the cellular level, and that snowballs and rolls. And then you start getting symptoms, and then those symptoms get labeled a disease, like irritable bowel disease, or allergies, or asthma, or eczema. Traditional approach is to squelch the inflammation from top down. We're going to take this inflammation and we're going to suppress it. That's the approach. But it doesn't work. It doesn't cure it. It may help alleviate it, but in the long term, it doesn't help the individual to a better, optimal health and wellness point of view. So it can be confusing. You know, parents out there who want the best for their children, they're looking on the web, they're looking on the internet, they're looking to see, well, how much vitamin D should I give my child? How much should I give my child just on a daily basis? And then if my child is sick, can I give him more, and is that safe to do? And then there are government agencies that say, well, you know, this is the bottom line, this is how much you should have every day. Yet we know that that's a very minimal dose, and that minimal dose is just enough to prevent disease and isn't enough to optimize health. And so there have been other studies to show that you can safely give 3 times, 5 times that much, and that you may need to do that. And so my job is to look at the research and the literature and to know what is safe and what is healthy and what is beneficial and has been shown to be effective. So if you'd like to contact me, go to my website. You can find all my information and contact information there, and I'd be happy and very grateful and appreciative. Love to see you.
A4M's Longevity Magazine e-journal is your weekly online e-newsletter featuring great articles on wellness, prevention, and biotech advances in longevity. To get A4M's e-journal free of charge, go to the A4M website, worldhealth.net, and sign up on the homepage. It's free.